humankind will be nothing, then you begin to have the appreciation and awareness of just who you are. So that's what African history teaches us.
Okay, so is that the reason or the underlying factor for the History Month, why it is celebrated?
Definitely so. The only thing you can do to demystify somebody's integrity is to take away from him his culture, is to let him think differently about himself. When we take our minds back into the ancient days, the first person who was to write a book, Homer, actually brought about that without the existence of ancient Egypt, Kemet, or the land of Ham, there wouldn't have been any other form of civilization or any other form of advancement in the human race. When we take medicine, for instance, we always credit Hippocrates as the father of medicine, but it's quite something to think of him as the father of medicine. When we go back into ancient history, we have a man called Imhotep, who was the first multi-genius kind of person. He is the founding father of medicine. Even in the oath that the medical students swear, there is a god that they swear to. That is the god called Imhotep, and he is the founding father of medicine. He died 2,400 years before Hippocrates, the founding father of medicine, was born.
And he's an African.
And he's an African from ancient Egypt.
Because to buttress the point, when you go to the British Museum in London and you go to the Louvre Museum in Paris, okay, you even go to the Karl Marx University in Leipzig in Germany. I've been to all these places. You have a picture of Imhotep, a black man, and the Europeans bear witness to the fact that this man, this black African, was the father of medicine. Okay, and there's even a treaty, a medical treaty in my timeline that was written more than 4,000 years ago that states that the African people had cures for Alzheimer's, for cataract surgery, for 200 ailments of the human body, and they understood the DNA of the human body, not this DNA that Europeans come recently with. No, the Africans did that long time ago, and even things like laser surgery for the eyes, another open heart surgery, another medical things, cesarean section was first done in Africa. The child of Julius Caesar and Cleopatra. That's why it's called cesarean section, after a child called Caesar, cesarean. That was even done in Africa. So it tells you that medicine has got nothing to do with Europe. It's an African discipline, And even when we look at things that are contentious, like the Bible, many Ghanaians are Christians, but how many Ghanaians know that the Bible is not about the Word of God? The Bible is about African people. Even our very own Ghanaian, Dr. Branche Dakwa, he wrote a book called Africans Who Wrote the Bible, signifying the African presence in the Bible. When you look at the Bible, and I'm not talking about the New Testament, because when Jesus was around, and even Jesus is an aberration, because his name is called Yeshua. Yeshua is a Hebrew term. Jesus is a Greco-Roman term. I'm a Bible theologian as well, so I know what I'm talking about. Okay? When Yeshua was around, there was no New Testament. It was the Old Testament that Yeshua was preaching, or Jesus was preaching. The New Testament was written 30 or 40 years after his death. Okay? So when you look at the Old Testament, there's no Britain, there's no America, there's no Germany, there's no Canada, there's no France mentioned in the Old Testament. But if you look into the book, you see Canaan there. You will see Egypt mentioned in the Bible. You will see Ethiopia mentioned in the Bible. You will see Cush. You will see the River Nile. You will see Cyrene. All these places are in Africa. So it tells you that the Bible is an African book.
Okay. So with all this achievement by the African, but then you realize that, are we our own enemies? Are we down that we don't know what we have achieved, because we end up importing everything? We end up depending on the whites for assistance and all that.
But there's a simple reason for that.
At the time when we're celebrating Black History Month, what do you have to say?
What we need to do, and that is what we have started doing today, is to educate. Okay. Because when somebody is misinformed for a very long time, the person loses his sense of self-love and self-beauty. And when you lose that thing, everything about you go back and say you are not capable. As Doc was rightly saying, if you read the whole book of the Bible and you understand it, you will get our facts. Now, if you bring it to the contemporary world, the leading #1 mathematician, Professor Francis Allotte, who is like the leading #1 mathematician in this whole world. Philip Emeagwali is one who made supersonic computers available. So we need to re-educate and structure our educational calendar. We should bring back the glory that we used to have. When you talk about Hippocrates or you talk about Alexander the Great, you see how fascinated our children are. But talk about Yasantua, they just think it's just a myth. But she is one kind of woman who fought the Europeans when they came to our shores. So we need to re-educate our people. We need to re-inform them about our truth and identity.
So finally, we are running out of time. How does one get to participate in this Black History Month? Is there a lineup of activities or something like that?
The W. Yeboah Center is one particular place that if you really want to have proper in-depth about your identity as an African, you go to that center. Or you can visit our website and liaise with us so that we can share if it's an institution, a society, or a club. So you can go to visionaresfoundation.org, visionaresfoundation.org, relate to us, and wherever you call us to come, we are always available to come and serve.
Okay, thank you very much. Gentlemen, I know you are very passionate about African history. We had spoken earlier on and you were telling me so much, and there was even this debate about Jesus being a black man or a white man, but the important thing is that this month is the Black History Month, and it's very necessary that we know our history as blacks. Thank you very much. The Breakfast Show continues right here.
Let's get the farmer at Nsawam